Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Israel Brief. I'm your host, Rolene Marks, or Occupier Barbie, and I just want to remind you that you can subscribe to the Daily Brief by clicking on the subscribe button below, or you can click on the little bell next to the YouTube sign and you will be notified every time we post a new brief. And also don't forget that you can read our original content online at www.layoftheland.online. That's www.layoftheland.online, because Lay of the Land proudly brings you the Israel Brief Sundays to Thursday for your latest news, updates and analysis from Israel. And if you're a fan of Facebook, you can like or follow us on Facebook at Lay of the Land. But it's a big news day, so let's get into some of the stories making headlines today. And the big story, breaking news, just a couple of hours ago, and that is that Palestinian Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah, as well as the rest of the ministerial cabinet, have tendered their resignations. Now, this comes on the recommendation by the Fatah central government that a new government is formed, made up of representatives from the various factions. And Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas still has to decide whether or not he accepts these resignations. And on to Jerusalem today, where a very sad story, and that is that vandals broke into a synagogue, a Beit Knesset, in the suburb of Kiryat Yovel, and they destroyed or damaged the house of prayer and threw the holy Torah scrolls on the floor, as well as defaced a lot of other artifacts. And this is, profoundly upsetting. These holy artifacts, the Torah, the holy books of Moses, or the first 5 books of the Bible, very, very, very holy to the Jewish people. And this kind of desecration is, of course, profoundly upsetting. And police have dispatched their forensics team to try and catch the perpetrators. And Prime Minister Netanyahu himself released a statement saying that he is absolutely shocked and hope that the perpetrators will be caught soon. And other ministers within the Knesset calling this an anti-Semitic act. And it's the suburb of Kiryat Yovel, which is home to multiple religions. There has been no dissension between religious groups, so this is a very, very painful mystery as to why it has happened. And while we're on the subject of anti-Semitism, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, addressing crowds after International Holocaust Memorial Day and the subsequent events that have followed this week, has said that anti-Semitism is rising to alarming levels around the world. And these are his words, not mine. And he said that the hatred of the Jewish people is rising astronomically, and that it has now entered the mainstream. And some of the statistics that he gave out included a rise of some 57% in the 2017-2018 year of incidents in the United States. And he said that we have to be vigilant and we have to do our utmost to stamp this out. And he actually compared the anti-Semitic discourse to the same anti-Semitic discourse we heard in the 1930s, and warned about this kind of invective being used against Jews and other minority communities. So coming from the Secretary General, who has shed a light on this, this is extremely, extremely alarming. But after these two very, very painful stories, I hope to bring you some better news. And one is that Intel, who are very famous for the chips that are contained inside your computers, Intel are investing $11 billion in building a plant in Kiryat Gat. And this is welcome news indeed. They are currently in talks with the Ministry of Finance. And this is in addition to their 18 billion shekel investment, as well as a 3 billion shekel grant over the last couple of years. But just to reiterate, this investment is not in shekels, it's in dollars, and the estimated total is $11 billion. Quite incredible indeed. And it wouldn't be an Israel Brief without an election watch. And while we all wait with bated breath to hear what our former IDF Chief of Staff, now politician, Benny Gantz and his party, Chosen Israel, have to say, what kind of platforms they are promoting ahead of the elections, what we do know is that ahead of next Tuesday's rally, where we will hear more from Chosen Israel leader Benny Gantz on where he stands and what his plans are, what we do know, what he has said, is that his concerns and his reason for entering the political race is his concerns for the next generation of Israelis. And when asked whether or not he would enter into a possible coalition with Prime Minister Netanyahu, should he win, should any bribery charges not be a factor and he wins the election, Benny Gantz said he would not dismiss, and he's very open to entering a coalition with the Prime Minister. So a very, very news-heavy day. And just to remind you, I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and we will speak again tomorrow.